Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 1 of the Dracula Dossier, a Night's Black Agents campaign. My name is Grant Ellis, and I'm the director of this campaign. Let me know in chat if you can hear my audio. You should be able to right now. Looks like I've got levels, and I can see that the captions are working. This is going to be an investigative vampire spy thriller. Night's Black Agents is published by Pelgrane Press. There will be links that cycle through the chat if you want to learn about the game or its system. I'm going to drop those periodically. Feel free to check out the links to learn more about the game and the system, but that's enough about me right now. Let's meet our fantastic players for tonight. First up, on my right is my good friend Pro Restarter. Pro, how are you doing and who are you playing?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. Hyped to be here. Vampires are my bread and butter. So, yeah, happy to play the game. I am playing Daquan. They are the muscle. Very interesting character. I'm going to be very different to how I normally RP. So, that's going to be very good. You can find me a bunch of places. Just follow my hat, which is at Pro Restarter. Mostly, I'm just happy to be here. Be dramatic.
Thank you much. And my good friend Jess. How you doing, Jess?
What's happening? Also, like Pro, I'm so excited. I've been needing more vampires in my life, and I'm ready to maybe take some out. I go by Burst of Hope on Twitter, and today I played Jisoo.
I'm very excited to be in another game with you and my other good friends here. And Lily, this is your first time on WebDM. It's great to have you here. Go ahead and let our audience know who you are.
Hi, I'm Lily. Thanks for having me on WebDM for the first time. I'm very excited to be here and vampire stuff, sink my fangs into it maybe. I don't know. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Lily Sparks, and that is Sparks with an X. I'm currently on hiatus, but I am still living a Bardnock life. So if you go to those places, Instagram and Twitter, you will find links to my Patreon, which has a free blog that I'm updating, and all my stream schedule and all that jazz.
And good friend and award-winning independent game designer, not an academic, but he works in the academy, Sharang Biswas.
So if you've watched Grant and me play before, he tends to start that way. I'm actually professorially nerdy right now. I really want to play this because I haven't played a gumshoe game before. And I'm like, ooh, Grant, gumshoe game, let's do it. So I'm really excited to try that. Also, Pelgrane is publishing my latest book, so I'm like, I should play more Pelgrane games and see what they're all about. So that's kind of cool. So I'm Sharang. Grant described me, not an academic, but I'm a game designer in New York, and I'm happy to be playing with some of these folks for the not second, but more than second this time, because I played with a couple of you a few times. So yeah, super excited.
So, let's talk a little bit about how the game's going to work tonight for our audience. So I've prepared an adventure. If you want to catch what went into that preparation, you can catch the VOD from Thursday night. But we're using a virtual tabletop, and there periodically throughout the night, you'll notice that we are rolling dice. So when you see a die roll across the screen, that is because we are using our virtual tabletop. The game uses a single d6 for most rolls, and we are able to spend points to add to that total from our player pools. I want to give the audience the same framework that I gave the players for tonight's episode. Also, if you're enjoying the soundtrack, it is from the album Dust and Mirrors. Pelgrane Press produces these intricate, highly produced soundtracks for each of their games, or at least 13th Age and Night's Black Agents, so it really adds to the atmosphere. Let's frame the campaign for everyone and get a feel for the system. So I'm going to read from the primer that I sent to these players. So, you live in the shadows. Maybe you were a spy before you got burned or turned or just plain burnt out. A criminal, perhaps. A mercenary. Or maybe you once tried to bring secrets into the light. You might have been a journalist once, or a researcher, who delved a little too deep. You know too much to go back into the daylight. You know about the vampires. You know they're are inhuman monsters pulling humanity's strings from the darkness. You know they feed on the innocent. You know they're monsters, and they have to be stopped. So, with a few others like you that you can trust, you mount your own shadow war against the undead. And so our players tonight are going to be playing what are called agents. They're burned out spies, ex-criminals, former special forces, and the like. And they have, shall we say, a very particular set of skills. They're not part of any organization or agency. In this game, you're on your own against the vampires, but they are, however, very good at what they do. So what we're going to do is we're going to kick off in the middle of the action. There's an American freelance journalist named Olivia Liu who's on the run from the bad guys, and our players are going to have to get to her first. So Shrong's character, Antal, received communication from a reliable source. They sent an electronic information package to Antal's email.
One of my many email addresses.
One of your many. It was a Hotmail. It was pierced no more at hotmail.com. It was back from his live journal days. And so why don't we talk about Sharang, how you brought this group together. We can come to terms of how we agree to that. And then after we figure out sort of everyone's sort of relationship with each other, we'll do our really cool opening shot, Ocean's 11 style, when you arrive in Marrakesh at the airport together. And we can talk about maybe how you got there and if you brought anything and how you want to approach it.
Nice. So I'm going to say, so Antal is more of a physical kind of person. So he knows Jisoo because she is an expert on like digital intrusion and like that kind of stuff. And so Antal has worked, even when he was a professional, like still with the agency, he's worked with Jisoo a lot. And so he's brought he discovered, all the stuff about the vampires, and he trusts Jisoo at a professional level. He doesn't trust that many people, and definitely brought her in that way. I think maybe Jisoo knows Daequan and Tai. So Jisoo, how did you know those two?
Ooh, I think I had to have a roster of some good muscly people who could do the things that I couldn't do. And Daequan was in the top 10 of that list.
Yeah.
Entire world. T is very interesting because we've run across each other probably several times throughout our Korean adventures, so I trust T to show me the right places. I'm a bit of a foodie, so I have a lot of hot spots where I enjoy restaurants and stuff, and T knows where I can go hang out after I have a good meal.
Nice. So probably, when I got this email, I probably immediately pinged Jisoo on her like super encrypted like email address, whatever, and I asked her to ascertain for me if this email was weird, suspicious, weird in any way. Did it even have like virus stuff to it that I couldn't catch or something? Because like this seems, unusual, just to cover all my bases. I'm very paranoid, and I'm really good at sensing trouble. So I'm like, let me sense. And I sent it to Jisoo to be like, hey, I need your help. What is this? Is it legit?
I answer very minimalistically. I'm like, nothing is hidden that's dangerous. And yes, it's legit. This is a thing.
So if you introduced me to T and Daequan, so I would send through our secure channels, I would send them all a message being like, hey, because we're all like the three of us know about vampire stuff. T knows a lot about vampire stuff, right? So I'm like, hey, this is the midden has hit the windmill, as Terry Pratchett says. Like things are happening now. We've been trying to track for a long time. We've been doing analysis, things like that. Now I think this is a real thing. Meet me all in Marrakesh at 0800 tomorrow morning.
That's such little notice.
And I forget, oh, right, she's not actually a spy. This is how we do things.
It's okay. I drop you the passport, drop you the links, hotwire the cash. Here's your ticket.
So, question for Daquan. When you received a sort of short notice to do this, did you have any special stipulations, or was there any friction between you and the others? Curious.
I think when this went down and they got it from Jisoo, who they'd worked with before, I think their only stipulation was how much, loud or quiet.
I like it. I
love it.
So let's sort of walk through this elite group of agents. Let's go ahead and describe how the four of you look when you come together in the Moroccan airport in Marrakesh. We can assume that you all arrive separately, coming from your various locations, but you all will meet at a central meeting point. And what we will say is that there is a open-air cafe just outside of the airport that is going to be the central meeting spot. So what I'd like to do is know... First, Antal, go ahead and describe your entrance, how your character looks, sort of how you survey the area. Then we will do Jisoo, Daquan, and then T.
So, Antal is dressed in a not super expensive business suit, right? Like someone like an office worker who has a business suit, maybe a little bit higher up, but not like very wealthy, because that's what his default clothing is, because his thing is he likes to blend in, right? He doesn't like, his thing is all disguise, infiltration. He doesn't like to stand out. So he's wearing a suit, he's wearing a pale shirt and kind of a pale tie, nothing loud. He is carrying a simple like trolley kind of bag and a briefcase. He also doesn't carry weapons very often because he can use weapons well, but he prefers using hand to hand. However, hidden in secret compartments in his briefcase is a fully functional like chemistry, like poisoning lab kit that he has he put together. That evades security because of the way his briefcase is built. He has a high conceal, so he's able to do that kind of thing. And he walks into the he doesn't walk into the cafe. He sits outside the cafe so he can like survey things. Again, he has very high sense trouble, so he likes to keep an eye on things. He sits down and he orders. Antal is Lebanese origins. His dad's Lebanese, and so he orders a strong Arabic coffee.
Awesome. Now, you mentioned something, and I'm actually going to have you make a roll here.
Yeah.
Your conceal is very high.
Yeah.
And I want everyone to know, if I ask you to spend points in this first scene, we'll refresh them. I want you to get a feel for the mechanics, so it's kind of low stakes, just so you can get used to rolling the dice and spending points.
Yeah.
Now, there is going to be a difficulty 4 conceal test. So the way this would work is you can spend points, or you can roll a d6, or you can do a combination of the two. So are you going to spend any points?
Sure, because it's the first roll of the game. Why not? So I'm going to spend 1 point of conceal.
Cool.
I have 4 points. So I'm going to say R1G6 plus 1. Bam. And I rolled exactly.
Perfect. All right. So no one detected your poison kit. No one got noticed the concealment. It was almost too easy. And Jisoo, you arrive on the scene shortly thereafter as Antal is drinking the coffee. Go ahead and describe your entrance.
Sure. Antal goes for a very intentional casual look, whereas Jisoo's like, I deal with the computers. I'm not at the front. I normally wear business casual. So it's just like casual blouse today. Little bit of makeup. pulled up in a bun, just your average Asian lady getting some coffee and whipping out a tablet. It's fine.
Jisoo, have we ever physically met?
No.
Nice.
It's always been like, if we do a video call, you're like, no, I have a muffled robot voice.
So I wasn't even entirely sure, like, what gender, ethnicity, anything about you. Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. I will sit right behind you and I won't engage with you until someone else shows up. But I also wear a smartwatch.
So when you sit behind me, I'm a little suspicious. Who is this person? I'm sensing trouble. Who is this person sitting behind me? I'm going to wait and watch and see what happens.
Yeah. I have a disguise of 8, but I'm absolutely not doing anything intentional.
Nice.
It's just me.
You have double my disguise, right? You're even better at disguising than I am. Yeah. Nice.
Excellent. And Daquan, your arrival.
Daquan is driving a 2020 Chevrolet Corvette.
Yes.
It is black with white trim. They have some extra stuff in the trunk, but as they get out, we see short dreadlocked hair kind of pushed forward, dyed blonde, a geometric tattoo on their neck. These type of glasses. They're wearing a dark green suit jacket with a kind of white shirt, and they have Kanye West or that power kind of blasting. And they're just like walking up to the coffee shop with already their coffee in hand, as if they've been scouting this place for a bit.
Brilliant. So Daquan makes his entrance, and there's even people too working at the coffee shop. Like, they give a knowing nod. They're like, "This is what's up. Start a fresh pot, y'all. Sorry, we've got like 6 fresh pots. Come on, it's a busy day. It's an airport."
Yeah, I speak Arabic fluently, so I'm like,
yes. Little sign that says Daquan. No, and then
Daquan, please, Daquan.
I've thought about doing that, just standing around the airport holding signs with random names. See if
random name, like most common name.
Jones. Smith. All right, and T, let's go ahead and describe your arrival onto the scene.
Cool. So I feel like we're kind of a sliding scale of casual to I don't know what we're gonna call the opposite of casual, but I'll just say loud. So
extra.
Yeah, extra
Fabulous.
as hell. So I feel like it's just an airport movie scene where T is literally like falling out of the airport entrance arrivals hall. She's juggling like a giant duffel bag. She has like giant sunglasses on, and like her hair is tied back in a tight black ponytail, and her clothing is like very Japanese Tokyo street style. So she's wearing like a baggy thing like this, and like a little bralette top, and like these huge flared pants, and she has like this lipstick that changes color somehow. Don't know how that happens. Some kind of crazy, Korean beauty technology. Is this an airport that I can smoke in? Is this one of those places?
Everyone smokes here.
Great.
It's that season.
Yeah, so she has like a cigarette like falling out of her mouth, and she has like her duffel bag pulling along, and like this suitcase that has like a bunch of stuff spilling out of it.
When Antal sees you, he completely disapproves, because his whole thing is like, blend in, don't let them find you. And I'm just like, what? Who is this person Jisoo recommended for our team? What? Just because he knows about vampires?
Yeah. I blend in so much you don't even know. Sometimes you got to stand out to blend in. You know what I mean? But we'll have that conversation later. So I feel like Antal like
Rocco as well. Like, what are you wearing?
Well, I feel like Antal like sees me, disapproves, and I don't even notice because I'm just seeing Jisoo sitting behind him, and I'm just like, hi, and walking straight over in his direction.
I whisper behind me to Antal. I'm like, there are choices in disguises. Sometimes the loudest choices are the best.
I passive-aggressively sip my very strong Arabic coffee.
loud slurps.
Yeah. Unlike Sharang, Antal does not talk that much. Yeah. playing a different kind of character. Though, Grant, feel free to still throw romance plots at me, as usual.
Well, we know I have a brand to uphold. As we start to play the soundtrack from Jekyll and Hyde, wrong fiction, but I won't. Not yet. If you donate $35 in the next fight, no, I'm kidding. That's the way I used to go. If you, the stretch goal for tonight's stream. We did that once. I think it was $200, and I sang Hakuna Matata on stream. But the old days. Now, you have the task of finding Olivia Liu. And what I'd like to hear from the group now is let's sort of talk about how you want to attempt to track her down. You know that there are bad guys pursuing her. You might need to find a place to stay as well. You know roughly the area of the city that she'd be in generally, but it's a very large metropolitan area. I'm going to type the name of it in chat, and I will butcher the pronunciation on stream, but Jamal al-Fana essentially is the area of Marrakesh that she was known to be in, but you're not sure exactly if there was a specific hotel where she would be at during the day. You only know that you have to find her.
Okay. Do we know what story or whatever she was pursuing here?
From what you know is she wasn't pursuing a specific story. She was on the run.
Oh, like she was. Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, so this is the first time, so give us a sec, I think, to figure out what we can do.
And it's okay to talk about it too, kind of fiction first as well, and be like, here's kind of what I do, and then we can figure out which skill it might be.
Okay.
I feel like T just like collapses onto the table where Jisoo is sitting, and she'll just like, her cigarette is all crumpled, and she'll pull out another one, pop it, and she'll be like, Jisoo, I am so excited about this case. I have been perfecting some of my skills for this, and I can't wait to introduce them to your peers, and we can collaborate together and see what we can do here in this situation to rescue this poor girl.
I take a loud sip of coffee.
Yes, I'm so excited. I'm going to need your enthusiasm, but I'm going to need you to ease them into your attitude, because your skills are great. They'll balance out everyone and absolutely necessary, but do you notice the sipping?
I did notice that.
He's a little uptight.
Is that your friend?
Subtle. An associate, a very trustworthy, very efficient associate.
That does. I don't show it, but I appreciate the flattery. But I'll be damned if I show it that I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, totally.
Daquan comes over and they have like 3 plates of like food and have like 2 drinks, and they like sit down with their like athletic, muscular self.
I immediately feel safer.
There is a flock, like as far as the food, and you notice there is like a flock of like polite Berber women that are attending to you. Like they're like, he needs to eat. I've known exactly what he would like, and like they're coming over and they're just
food.
Yeah, so they're making sure that you get the good food. That boy needs some calories.
I turn my nose up at the food slightly because I think Lebanese food is superior to Moroccan food.
Oh, we're whipping out the foodie tastes.
Yeah, it's like Arabic food. Different Arabic foods compete apparently in this universe.
Well, it's true. In fact, as the women are serving it to Daquan too, like they throw it out there. They go, "This is the best." Like you could go to Lebanon, you would not have dishes as good as this here. And the gauntlet is thrown. Now that's just side. Please don't kill these old ladies, Sharong. I know your character's a murderer, but.
In my head, I'm like, you call that a shawarma? Like, what is this useless dish? I have this feeling a lot in America. I'm like, this is not a shawarma, bitches. Like, and I always miss shawarma from my childhood. So I'm channeling that feeling. I'm like looking looking at Daquan's food like over the rim of my like coffee cup, and I'm like.
And what annoys you most likely even more is that you see Daquan isn't even tasting it. They're just wolfing it down.
Eat it like a duck.
So they're not even appreciating it. Just like, oh, I'm hungry. I haven't eaten for like a few days.
Yeah, and my the coffee cups are very small and dainty, right? So this dainty, tiny white coffee cup.
Are we still at different tables?
They're relatively close.
Yeah. So I say that. So I'm gonna assume that we're talking in a way that a professional would know how to talk and not be very obvious, right? I don't know how to talk like that. I'm not a trained spy, but I'm gonna say that our characters are talking that way.
It's a cold day for pontooning, Untal.
Yeah, yes. Exactly. Exactly. I'm like, yes, the sugar has melted just right. Right? But I'm gonna say I think I should check in on the local law enforcement and find out if they've heard of anything about this like American journalist, because she's a foreign journalist. People keep track of that, and if she's on the run, like they might have some clues.
All right, so let's talk about that. So you have an investigative ability, and this ability, I believe, is... I
was looking at Cop Talk.
Cop Talk could do it, and there's lots of law enforcement on patrol around here, so it's not uncommon to find them, and so there is a pair of officers on patrol, and it doesn't take you too long before you flag them down, and without spending a point, they let you know. They're like, there hasn't been many big crimes. In fact, it's probably the heat. It's been fairly slow. But if you're looking for most of the crime, if there is going to be a problem, happens and they pull out like this little like 1990s triptych map. They carry these with them. They go, well, we want to save the batteries on our electronic devices because we might want to tweet later about RPG things. But they pull out the pen and paper triptych and they show on the map. They go, it probably happened around here. And you notice that there is an area where there is a collection of hotels, hostels, etc. They say most of the crime happens there because that's where the tourists come into town. They get, smash and grab purses, things like that.
Yeah. Great. And so obviously we're talking in Arabic, and I'm kind of giving the air that I am a law enforcement person, without outright saying it. So I'm like, use just mannerisms and the way I speak, and I speak fluent Arabic, and hopefully my Arabic passes a Moroccan accent test somewhat. And so I'm like, so they gave me the location. Do they have any info about the journalist herself? Any rumors?
No, there's no rumors. There are like lots of people come to and from, but you notice like at this point they're speaking with you almost more informally, and they refer to you as cousin several times because they just figure you're like from around here. They're like, well, if she was going to be here, she'd probably stay. They sort of go, most journalists end up getting a room at, like, say, now, if you'd like to spend a point in Cop Talk, I will give you the name of the hotel.
Oh, sure. Yeah, this is what these points are there for.
Yes. And you can have
the spending is like me. I know a lot of on the flight here. I looked up a lot of info about the Marrakesh police system, and I have some experience with that when I worked in the Middle East. So I literally just like throw off some like jargon and some like names of places and stuff that I know in Morocco, and like
They got you. She'd probably have stayed at like the Riyadh Rouge or somewhere around there, and that's actually the name of a prominent hotel. And they kind of mark it on their map, and they even they just tear out the page and give it to you because they have two. They're like we've got a collection of them back at base.
So I'm like shukran, and like I shake their hand. No, in Morocco it'd actually be merci, and I shake their hand. And I head back to the table.
Ça va, and then they leave. No, sorry. That's our NPC talk.
As I remember from I had a French teacher who's Algerian, and she told me in like Morocco and Algeria, it's like a mixture of French, Arabic, and Spanish. is like used colloquially, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's really cool.
All right. So you have managed to track down the hotel, and at any point, now in the meta, all the players know this, and you can assume either you are all operating independently or operating together. You can talk amongst yourselves how that might look in the game, and then we can move the camera around. If there's anything else, like say you didn't feel safe and you wanted to acquire firearms, you could do that, or other tools of the trade, so to speak, if you didn't smuggle it in. If you're riding around in the 2020 Corvette and you're looking for anything in particular, just let me know. And then as you find pieces of interest, I will give you clues to help progress the story, open up future leads, and then there are these concept of core clues that kind of expand to other parts of the campaign.
Okay. Grant, so my conceal power lets me smuggle one small item on my person undetectably. Can I say it's like a small blade that's my like backup emergency weapon that I always have on me? Great. Yep. It's like hidden, like not like Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed? That's immediately. I was like, oh.
Just came out, but not like that.
I imagine.
A small blade.
The word on the internet, in the dark web, etc., is that there is an assassin that uses a blade known as the Serpent's Tooth. It is the blade that kills kings and queens, and it is rumored to look like a raptor's claw, like it came from an archaeological site, but none have lived to tell the tale of how it looks.
Neat.
That's a schmexy rumor.
All right.
For a schmexy group of spies.
Mhm.
And a club owner. Sorry, don't mean to be non-inclusive.
That's okay. I do my thing also. Do you share this information with us?
Yeah, so I come back to the table and it's the Riyadh Rouge. There, see again, perfect blend of like Arabic and French, right? So I'm like, Riyadh Rouge, we should go there right now.
Yeah, listen, that's some really good information that you have there, but if it's all right with all of you, we are in Morocco right now, and there is a large criminal underground that's just waiting to be unfurled and discovered. While y'all go do that, if it's cool with you, I would love to hit up some gambling dens and see what the word is down on the darker side.
So again, I am impressed, but I'd be damned if I show that. I'm like,
Do I have insight?
I'm like, maybe she is useful after all.
I have bullshit detector. I want to bullshit detect you.
Yes.
You realize that I actually am approving of this thing.
She doesn't say anything. She's just like,
So here's
The second T said unfurled, I was like, yes.
So, T, if you'd like to spend a point in Streetwise, I'm going to tell you what you've uncovered basically as you've... it started with street games, and then there were doors open to private rooms. The stakes got higher and higher, and you started to get more and more information. If you'd like to spend a point in Streetwise, I will unfurl part of the conspiracy.
Yeah, give me the wisdom of the streets, GM.
Okay. They say they haven't been taken this badly by anyone since the Pale Man came to town. The Pale Man came, and there were others with him. He was very, very authoritative, and when we didn't want to pay, they made us pay. So they're a little short on paying you now, but they'll give you everything they have. You know, they say, we're good for it. It's just, our coffers refill every, so many days. But hold on to your chips. You can cash them all in. And they let you know that when they left, there had to have been like 20 of them, at least, that were all working together.
When you say pale, I just want to clarify, it's P-A-L-E, not pale like a guy that carries
he
around,
was carrying
it
was chocolate milk, and it was delicious, and it was fat. It was whole milk. And
I need this as an NPC.
No. They said the joke was they nicknamed him needs lotion. They're like, he needs lotion, just because he needed sunblock because he was just very, very, very. He didn't look like he was from around here. Didn't look like he was a tourist.
Oh, that makes sense. You said needs lotion. I'm like, what kind of crusty faces?
Am I allowed to ask like a specific question?
You can.
I would have been like, this is very interesting. I definitely want to know why they didn't pay me all the money that they should have. So good info. But I also want to kind of dig and see if there would have been anything going on that like would have been worth investigating or reporting on.
Here's what they would say. They would say, all they know is that there is a large number of individuals that have come from out of town that seem to be carrying themselves with a military-like manner, and they don't really seem interested in the city itself. They're looking for something specifically, and when we've listened to them, their French and their Arabic and their Spanish wasn't very good. They seem to be trying to find an outsider. They said probably an American, so there's a large number of people looking for them. But we last saw them go over. They were headed towards the Malah, which is a religious quarter of Jewish faith. There's a lot of individuals that live there.
Cool.
Great.
So I would like to go get a room at the Riyadh Rouge.
Okay.
What is kind of going on? I would have liked to have phone up any kind of agency that I know that deals in the area, and find out if a hit or protection order has been completed on the journalist. And if I could use bureaucracy for that, that'd be great. If that's what I'm governmental bodies and things like that.
You spend the point, there hasn't been any, but you do know that there was a large sum of money paid to some of the local officials to turn a blind eye on a specific date, calendar day today. So it's like the police are supposed to stay out of an area of town. If they hear gunshots, they should be a little slow to respond.
Oh. Well, look at us all digging up cool information.
I know, right?
Also, I think of Pale Man. Are any of our characters white? I don't think so, right?
Well, I have a few Romanian NPCs. No, sorry.
I am very pale. Like, her skin is very, very pale.
My character's biracial, but you're not white. Okay, I'm just kidding, because none of us. Well, I shouldn't say that. Many of us are not white, but yeah. So I was wondering if I could those words.
Hi, Grant.
We love you, Grant.
Oh god.
Everyone was like, Grant is like, I got green eyes.
Like your mother, Harry Potter. Anyway.
So,
sorry.
So
real quick question I forgot to ask. How much money did I win, and does it matter? Like, will money be used in this game?
There will probably be times where you need money, but you did earn the equivalent of $1,000 American in relatively short time. And for these individuals, it's it's a substantial loss for them. But also they kind of liked your flash. They liked your style.
If I was there, I would have sipped my coffee loudly.
These games of chance. But Sharong, when you went to the Riyadh Rouge, would you like to spend a notice point?
Yeah, because it is. I picked that place so that I could, keep an eye out. So I definitely will spend a notice point. Where is my character sheet? Oh, I have 0 points in notice.
You have 0, so you can't.
Surveillance.
Does anyone have a notice point? And maybe you're arriving at the Riyadh Rouge about it. So like Daquan turns the corner. This is this is good timing because you see Fancy Pants on Tall across the street, sipping coffee loudly. I'm
gonna say I'm bad at just noticing things on the fly. I'm good at doing the research, and I'm good at sensing if there's trouble. But otherwise, I'm too wrapped in my plan about what we're gonna do and stuff, so I don't notice anything.
I would have tagged along with Antal, so Jisoo would have been with you to try and scope the hotel and make sure, if I have to tap something, I will. And I do have a notice point I can spend.
Cool. Everyone is within a block of this place, we will say. So as the car turns the corner, what you notice, Jisoo, as you're crossing to the hotel, there is, and these hotels they're like open court. They're these beautiful medieval structures for the most part. There's like a bed and breakfast across the street, and there's a lot of like traffic moving through here, like a lot of vehicles is just kind of racing by. You notice about a block away, there is someone that does stick out like a sore thumb. They're wearing a pair of black sunglasses. They have a large, wide brim hat to try to keep them in shade, and they're constantly like spritzing their face with a little spray water bottle. Their arms are like painted with sunblock. They're wearing a Hawaiian shirt, but it's clearly not from around here, and it is an Aloha shirt as well. Like it's completely out of place. And they have an earpiece in, and they're kind of talking to themselves while this is going on. Daquan, while Jisoo notices that, you notice directly across the street from them in an alleyway, 3 motorcycles. 2 of them have individuals on them that are watching the hotel very, very closely. 3 motorcycles, 2 of them have people on it. And you notice this as you sort of come to the street's end.
What are they kind of wearing and how are they holding themselves? I would like to kind of use my military science to have any military rank, any organization, if they have any weapons on them, that kind of thing.
So you can use the military science, and this is what you know. The way they're holding themselves, one of them looks very much like they know how to handle themselves. They know how to throw hands. They also know how to throw knees, elbows, and kicks. They have, and they're well balanced in the way they're holding themselves. The other one looks a little slouchy. Looks like this might be the first time that they've almost gotten into a scrap before. But you know very well there are 3 motorcycles. Someone's probably in that hotel. And what I'd like to do is kind of move the camera over. Before we do that, though, before we cut, T, are you going to arrive on the scene, or are you going to head someplace else?
She'll be going back in to regroup. She said she would meet them there later. I feel like arrive is just such a understatement for when T steps on a scene.
When she manifests.
Yes. Materializes.
Yes. Brilliant. So you're not far from there, but let's cut the camera and go into the hotel. There will be at certain points where what we will do is we will what I'd like to call slow the game down so we can explain some of the new mechanics, but also give us time to acclimate. I don't want to go too fast, even though it is a spy movie. I want to make sure we're all comfortable with the rules.
Right.
So at this point, there is a very elderly gentleman working the front desk, and as you kind of come in, he's writing on the books, and he kind of looks up and he sees you, and then he goes right back to writing.
So I probably have brushed up on my Moroccan dialect, so I say, "Hey, how are you?" in Moroccan Arabic. I'm like, "Hi, how are you? I'd love to get a room here."
As he responds, and he's like, "I'm 67 years old. I have the gout, and I lost 3 sons in my life. I'm doing well, and I'd like to give you a room. We have rooms here." Tell me which
I
room
love
you
that.
like. Yes, he's just very, very somber. One of those things. And you can tell when he says this, he's just kind of got that inappropriate sense of humor where he's just kind of like, but you can tell he's not lying. He's just kind of like, look, life is bullshit and I deal with it. You know,
Yeah, I like nod. Would I be in character? Yeah, I think I slip into character very easily. So I would be like, yeah, life is horrible. I'm here on this business trip. It's so annoying.
So he lets you know he can get you a room. And then he kind of looks at Jisoo and then to you, and he's like, honeymoon.
And I'm like, no, she's my associate. In fact, I wonder if my business partner has arrived already. Her name is blah, 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 blah. I know she's staying at this hotel. I give the journalist's name.
Yeah, he goes, oh yeah, she's here. Were you sharing a room with her? She had a
Oh,
mention.
no, we're just business partners. And I laugh. I'm like, that would be so inappropriate. But I'm like, do you know what room she is, though? I want to, like, knock and...
Yeah. So let's see. And, would you like to attempt to bribe him? Would you like to attempt to flatter him?
Oh, you know what? I took that one stray point in reassurance, right? Being like, you get good at that. So I'm using that to, like, connect with his plight about his, like, son and how life is shite and everything, and, like, try and work my way into his good books through reassurance. I'm glad I took that one point.
He looks at you, and you can tell, like, your words have touched his heart. And even though he is nothing but salt and pain, he's like, look, I mentioned my sons. They were through 3 different failed marriages, and I lost everything but this hotel. This is my life's work. I will give you that room number. It's against all of our policies, but you have warmed my heart today like a cup of
hospitality,
hot cocoa.
Confidentiality.
Yeah.
Life sucks and then you die. That's the magic word.
I'll say this though, like the convention scene. We've managed to get some hotel room numbers and keys. It's like, hey, can we get the keys to this room? No. And then, like, Laughel of Lindy walks up and goes, please. They go, oh, yeah, you're dressed like a pirate, of course. Go to that room.
Yeah, I'm like, inshallah, your son will have a successful marriage this time. I know that it's hard. Then I nod sagely and wisely. And Jisoo can tell, because Jisoo is a mistress of disguise, right? Jisoo can tell that when I spoke to this guy, my personality and mannerism had shifted instantly. Even though, Jisoo, do you speak Arabic?
It would be, I studied it, not fluent, so it's like I pick up the vibe.
Yeah, even with that level of Arabic, you can tell I'm not speaking in my normal inflection because you're so good at disguise, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm being very, like, reassuring and yes, and normally and I'm like, you know, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, big flip of the switch. Noted. Mm-hmm. I'll remember this.
So you are given her room number.
Nice.
And...
So I signal to Jisoo, we go up. Because I still have my suitcase, I'm actually gonna quickly stash both our bags maybe in my room because we don't want to waste time going to separate rooms, and head to that room. And I also, if anytime my sense troubles, Spidey sense tingles, let me know.
Yeah, because the door to her room is clearly open. It's cracked. It's dark inside. And it sounds like someone is in there.
Okay, I signal to Jisoo to stay back because she is not a fighter.
Whoa.
I
can hold my own. I just default to other people.
Right? I know her to be an expert, like, hacker and cryptographer.
This is my secret powers. Yeah, you don't know that yet.
I haven't met you. Right? I haven't met you. So
yeah.
So I'm like,
I'll defer. Back. I'll let you have this moment.
Yeah, you have some decent combat skills, right? If I remember.
Yeah, I think I took a 4.
Yeah. But I assume you're an egghead kind of thing. Even though technically I have a PhD, so I'm an egghead. But yeah.
Just before this goes down, I want all the other players to know too, just so we can keep pace. When this goes down, everyone's going to have a chance to act. So this is one of the few times I will give you that spoiler. So if you feel a little antsy or like you want to act, I want every player to know that they're going to have that opportunity in just a minute. So Sharong, describe how you want to approach this. You know someone's in there. You know they are most likely on the other side of the door. You can even see their little feet.
If I push the door very slightly, would I be able to see them?
If you push the door, it will probably push into them or eventually bang into them. You would have to get around to the other side.
Given my spy instincts, would I suspect the door is open? So I'm guessing I suspect my first thing is that I suspect someone has broken into the room, right? Is what I would suspect. I'm thinking, right?
Yes.
Why would the door be open otherwise? This woman's on the run. She wouldn't just leave the door open unless she's a colossal idiot. I'm actually going to slam the door as hard as possible to whack the person behind the door as a melee attack almost.
All right. So let's hand-to-hand this.
Yes! So I'm good at bitches!
All right, let's make this. Let's do this. So.
And my initiative is determined by my sense trouble score and not by my.
Oh, you are very clearly going first, and sort of the way this is going to go, because while he is ready, he's not ready to be found out.
Yeah. So I'm gonna. No, not yet. Okay, yeah. So I'm Krav Maga trained. So I look around first, see that no one's in this corridor, obviously, and then I use my elbow and bash the door as hard as without the point. I don't want to break through the door with my elbow. I use the flat part and bash the door against really, really hard, and then immediately grab the handle, roll in, and shut the door behind me, and in prep for my next step.
All right, so this is
and do that specifically so that if Jisoo enters, she can also slam the door against the person.
Okay.
Or physics.
So I'd like you to do a hand-to-hand.
Right. Okay. So I have a 10 in hand-to-hand.
Yeah.
I'm totally gonna use. Why not 2 points of this?
Okay. So you use tool and then go ahead and roll the dice.
1d6 plus 2, right?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, put the slash before the R.
Oh, sorry. 1d6 plus 2.
All right. So, poof, door opens, pops whoever's on the other side. You hear them kind of stutter, and you see a large man. Now, he's got a bit of a dad bod on him, but his guns look like they've seen some use, and he's stout, solid. He's essentially caught off guard by you and catches a glancing blow, but does not lose his footing. Yes, this is a thick boy. 3 C's, Jisoo. 3 C's. Triple C. You hear a beep go off in the room. Daquan, across the street, you and T see the 2 guys that were on motorcycles get off the motorcycles and start running towards across the street to go into the hotel.
Oh my god, this is so exciting!
What would you like to do, Daquan?
Oh, this is not a time for jacket. This is roll up.
This is great. This is Sharong's cameo in The Matrix.
As they get close and they start kind of running and getting off the bikes, I'm going to look towards their vehicles, and I'm going to eye it over, and if I can with my drive, I have a 10. I'd like to see where it's most kind of vulnerable and shoot out, because it's a spy movie. It kind of shoot the kind of explosive area and set the bikes alight.
All right, so you can totally do that. So if you want to detonate their bikes, you can do that. It's essentially a difficulty 6 to do that. If you have anything like an MOS skill, we can just be like, bam, and you're gonna explode their bikes. It's your call.
I don't have an MOS skill, but I do have a 10 in shooting.
Are you going to spend 6 points or points in dice?
Let's spend 4 points and roll. Let's get the doing it, shall we? So D6, right? And then
yes,
plus 4. I need a 6 to get it. Oh, I got a 5.
Oh.
All right, so you shoot, and is your weapon silenced or is it just?
It would have been silenced with this. I think
just
GC would have said quiet.
Miss. T, do you have a firearm, and are you gonna be like, no? Let me show you how it's done. No.
No. How far did they get from me since they started running in? Because I see Daquan doing that.
Okay, you see they've gone across the street. You're probably a round or two away.
Cool. I have a 10 in sense trouble, so obviously I know something's going down. I want to sprint after them in a stealthy manner and see where they're going. I'm like, Daquan, you got this, right? You're big. Come meet me there after. Probably could use some. And then...
Right.
All right, so you actually close the gap on them, and the next round they might notice you're coming up behind them. You might get the drop on them. I'm going to go ahead and roll to just see if they see you. Or rather, let me ask you the question.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Would you like to sneak up on them, or would you just like to take them out as quickly as possible?
I don't want to take them out until I know where they're going, so I'm hoping that I can just sort of like trail behind them at a close pace and then get in there if stuff goes down.
You can see that they are going to go into the hotel. They're going to run past the front desk, up the stairs. They're going to try to get in that hotel so they can gang up on Antal and Jisoo. These things, being a spy or a club owner. Strong.
Yeah.
Club owner and criminal.
Who has a 10 in sense trouble, so I obviously knew their entire plan and plot of where they were going.
Being in the club, you're always on the lookout for where's the problem gonna happen, the problem gonna happen, right?
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, so I just want to follow them all the way up there and then jump them right when they think that they're teamed up, because then I'll be teamed up with my people and they'll be teamed up with theirs and we can have a brawl.
So here's the way it's gonna work. Jisoo, you see individuals coming up around the stairs as Antal has dove into the hotel room. What would you like to do? They're coming up the stairs. You see T coming up behind them. It's your call, though.
Well, I've just been handed the perfect weapon. And Antal gave me his jacket. So I'm just confidently, calmly unfurling it. One sleeve in one hand, one sleeve in the other, waiting for the first man to come up, and I will swiftly wrap it around his neck.
Yes!
Choke him out.
Hand to hand it. Let me know. You're going to need a 4 or higher.
Okay.
Is that a weapon? Hand grant? Would that be?
I would consider this. I would consider it like a gi in jujitsu. You are manipulating the sleeve, so I would go hand to hand.
Nice.
Okay, hand to hand 3. Do we spend points in these as well?
You can spend points if you would like, or you can roll, or you can do a combination. You need at least.
I'm gonna
4.
spend 1 point.
Okay.
I'm gonna do it. Spend 1 point on this. 1. I got a 3.
So as you do it and you begin, you notice this individual obviously looks like they're trained. Like they catch you by the wrist and try to get you in some hand control.
Sure.
This is the one Daquan would have known. This one knows how to handle himself.
Ooh.
Sexy.
Yeah, we thought it was like a mook, but it actually is a significant.
All right.
I have a name.
All right, T. Yeah, it's like, I'm a named character. I have a stat block.
Seeing Jisoo in trouble now, I'm just gonna put my sunglasses on top of my head and then think about it a second more and tuck them in my pocket. They're really expensive. And then I'm just gonna dart forward and elbow that guy in the face.
All right, so this is gonna be a hand-to-hand. You can.
Are you coming from behind him because you were coming up the stairs behind him?
Yeah, I thought so.
Like a temple strike.
Yeah.
Temple strike. If you wanted, you could say you hit him and then grab both of his ankles and pull him, and he hits his head. You can narrate this as cinematic as you want, but let's go ahead and see what you get.
Yeah,
so,
that's the important part.
So spend as many points as you like from hand to hand. You need to get at least a 4 or higher, and then roll a d6.
I'll spend 1. So that is going to be, oh my god, where is this roll coming up? Why don't I see this? Aha. That is a 2 + 1, so that is a 3.
That's a 3. And so as you come up and you're like, ha! You jump, like your hand goes right over his head and he just turns stone face like the Undertaker from WWE, just like rise up, dead man. And he's just like, no, this is the one that's never been in a fight before. He looks a little scared to fight you, but he's like, I'm gonna have to try.
It's my first day.
They're gonna go. So your hit threshold is 4, correct, Untitled?
Mine is 4, yeah, because I have a high athletics. That's
right,
my 3.
Well, you get hit for a single point of damage. He comes in there, and like every dad at a barbecue has that one dad sloppy overhand right they can throw. They usually gas out after they throw it one time, but he readies his dad punch and like catches you. It's not perfectly clean, and he's surprised you're not knocked down because he's won many fights at a barbecue with this shot. And he realizes that you are tougher than you look.
Yeah, and I'm surprised because very few people land a hit on me.
All right, and then the one that is attempting to take out Jisoo. Jisoo, they are spending a few points, 2 points, and then rolling a d6. What is your hit threshold?
I just looked it up. It's just a 3.
All right, so you take a knee too, and you also take a point of damage. So it's one of those things. He goes from wrist, like pommels in and gets you in a tie clinch, and just throws a knee like right up the middle. But you're smart, to bring an elbow and you like jam it down into his thigh. And he's just like, all right, someone's been training. That hurts a little, but it's about to get real. And then the other one turns to swing at T with their sloppy fists. A 1. So he goes
threshold.
Yeah, he goes to open hand. Yeah, it's probably a 3 or higher. So he just does like this ugly open hand like slap towards you, completely misses. He's just kind of like, yeah, and then he's like, oh no. He's like, ow, my laborman's torn, and like he like refers to his ligaments in his shoulder. He's like, I'm gonna skip lunch today. Try and make excuses. All right. Let's go back around. We'll go Untitled, then Daquan, and then Jisoo, and then
so
Taken.
he like I'm gonna say he like punches me like a basic punch, right? And I'm annoyed. I'm gonna say this is an old-fashioned hotel, right? So there's a phone on the wall, like right near the door, that with a cord. So I grab the phone and he punches me. I grab the phone. I sweep under his leg, aiming that if he falls back, I can wrap the cord around his neck and sock him in the eye with the phone itself. So
this can be a weapons or hand to hand. I'll let you choose.
My skill is hand to hand, so I'm gonna use hand to hand, and I'm gonna spend what's my hand to hand right now? I'm gonna spend 2 points again, so I'm at 6 points of hand to hand right now. Mm-hmm. And let me roll R1d6 plus 2. And the die is hidden behind someone's face, so I can't actually see it.
It looks like you rolled a 4.
Okay, perfect. So and I sock him in the eye while strangling him with the cord of the phone, trying like both incapacitate him and beat him, like close his throat and beat him. But I want him to my aim is to cut him off of oxygen so he faints, and then I can question him later. That's my aim.
So he's unconscious at this point. You hit him, his eyes roll back, and you have him strangled. You can tell that he's breathing, but he's out.
I rip the cable off and I tie his hands with it.
And then we're gonna pause initiative for a second. So T, I'd like to hear your idea, because you have one.
Okay. Yes, I do have an idea. So seeing that these two people that me and Jisoo were fighting seem a little hesitant or unsure or fresh, I'm just gonna sort of put my hands up, and I would like to make a shrink check to be like, hey, is this your first day? It's hard fighting people, right? Humanity, and is it worth it? You don't seem fully comfortable. And yeah.
Go for it. You can go
Verbal
for it on
combat.
Little man and his quivering Adam's apple.
I love this.
So that is going to be a D6, and I'm spending 3, so that is 6.
You notice, he just kind of is like, he just kind of sniffs and he's like, I don't want to do this. I want to go dance at the club. I hate my life. And he just kind of like, he's like, yeah, he kind of like stops and he's just kind of like looks at the other one who's clearly, has his hands and knees full trying to combat Jisoo. And he's willing to like leave him to fend for himself for now. So yeah, that one, he's like, we can't beat these guys. They're clearly professionals. Look, our big guy has been KO'd up there. You can see a shadow drop. But let's cut outside and look at Daquan. So are you taking another shot or are you?
So I think as this
cycles?
was going on, and stuff's happening there, did I leave any of the stuff by the cycles, or is it just kind of gone?
It's just their cycles. There is, you see though, like you see it now. It's almost, this would be like a telescope in from where you're at. There is an individual wearing a wide-brimmed hat, sunglasses, covered in suntan lotion, calling shots. You all hear while this combat is going on, they're like, no, they've got inside. You got to get them. You got to get them. We've got to hurry up and get Lou now. If you can't get them, get out of there. We got to chase her down. Whole operation's been compromised.
Okay. I'm gonna holster my weapon, kind of fit up my suit, and I have Tradecraft 2, which allows me to approach other agents without kind of scaring them. So I'm gonna try and talk to this individual if I can.
You come up, and immediately he's like, good. The special operatives are here. They sent you down from Gibraltar, didn't they? And that's, with a single spin, you end up getting in a conversation. If you want to spend an additional point, he believes you work for them. Like,
ooh.
Yeah. I'll do that.
He believes, and this is what he kind of divulges to you. He's like, all right, finally, they're bringing in the real muscle. Hope your flight was okay. Sorry that the facility's in Gibraltar. That is a core clue that Gibraltar, the Rock of Gibraltar, is another location that you can go to.
Great.
Sorry that they're a little run down.
Grant, should we take notes?
I would recommend it being an investigative game. For this first adventure, I will have sort of a write-up for you that I can send. Based on your character's abilities, there's certain things I will just give you, other things that you might want to take notes for.
Luckily, it's recorded.
So, yeah, he's like, you're going to have to get to Lou. And just so you know, there's others in that hotel. Might need you to take them out. Might need you to take them out fast.
Right. And since you mentioned Gibraltar, I don't know if I can do this on my turn yet, because I have military. I spent my military science, right? Did that refresh with the last scene, or are we?
I would give it to you. I would give you your points back.
Okay. Because I have military science too. Can I kind of get with like the mannerisms and the jargon that he's talking about, and any kind of associative kind of orders? Locations, what kind of operation do I know? Do I know this operation? Do I know the agency?
100%. 100%.
So I'm gonna say
you've heard rumors about it.
I'm gonna say to this guy then, right? And the people you've got can't do it. Just tell me where.
We didn't have good resources. We're trying to close in on Harker in London.
Oh, I'm gonna note that down as well.
The Harker issue. Where is the reporter now? Is she here?
No, she's headed to the Mala, but we got our kill squad closing in on her. We've got about 12 guys.
Then I guess I should head there. If they can't handle the people inside, you know what to do with them. Black bag them and move on.
You see like a chill go over him, and then he nods. So we're gonna cut back inside. So Jisoo, you are locked in a heated combat with I guess Sagat from Street Fighter. You know.
Quick question, Grant. What language were they speaking when they spoke to T?
A combination of English, French, and Arabic. They're just kind of spitting it out.
They're probably locals then.
These guys, you would pick up. These guys are clearly locals. The one you've beaten up probably was born here, but was trained elsewhere. He's
okay. Oh, I can tell that. Like your training is very emblematic of this agency or something.
Western style boxing that was taught by like, a military reserve or something like that.
Interesting.
Where's your Dempsey roll now, bitch?
Sorry.
Okay, I'm stuck in a Muay Thai clench, you say, huh?
Yeah, he's got it up, but I mean, you have the initiative, though.
That's fine. I've been here before. I might be in the clinch, but I've got his jacket around this guy's wrists. So I'm just gonna go full drop my weight into him and down and hope for the flip.
All right, hand to hand it.
Hell yeah. Let's see. I've got 3 down to 2. I'm going to spend another point.
I'm in love with the Born Identity hand-to-hand fight scenes. So I'm loving this. What we're painting.
That's a 7, bitch.
Nice.
Describe how far you send him. Does he go all the way out the window or like?
I mean, if the hallway has a window, absolutely.
Well, it would go through the doorway, across the hotel room, and out the window. They're not that big.
Scream.
No.
Drops 2-story.
Yes, I have a conveniently placed balcony rail. Throw him down the hallway. He's just doing the cartoon roll.
That's what I'm thinking. It's like Ryu. He does that double somersault flip.
Right past his friend who was running away and had left him behind.
So, yeah, he lands, and this is one of those things where it looks like he probably hit his head on the fall. He's unconscious. Like, got spiked, took a bad stinger. So, one is essentially taken captive. 2 are unconscious upstairs. That's the end of combat. If you want, you can search the hotel room. You can interrogate one of them.
I opened the door, and I quickly, and I find, I mean, I heard them fight, so there's all 10 seconds, right? So I open the door, about to rush out to help my friend Jisoo, who doesn't know how to handle herself in a fight, and I'm like, I think I glimpse you shove this guy out the window, and I'm like, and I make another, I am impressed, but do not show it, and I think T can easily see, oh, he's impressed again.
So much bullshit around you.
Yeah. And I'm like, but I signal you guys to quickly come inside the room so we can shut the door.
Before we step in real quick, on the balcony, if we're looking out over, do we see Daquan? Is it facing that way? Or the window?
You wouldn't be able to see Daquan from your position, but we would assume that you either have burner phones that you use to text each other. If you wanted to have earpieces, you could have them at your call.
Cool. She would have taken an earpiece just for the novelty of it, oh, now I'm really a spy. Then she'll be like, what would be a good name for you? No, just Daquan for now. I don't know you well enough yet. I think she has that monologue as she's doing it, she turned it on by accident. She's like, what do I call you? Okay, this is Glitter Fairy calling Daquan. Going into the room now. Over.
I eat a piece of chocolate loudly.
There's caramels.
It's a bunny-shaped piece of chocolate filled with caramel because I actually got those today from Hotel Chocolat. So just say.
So we'll let you do the back and forth, and then we'll talk about how you want to handle interrogating your captives, searching the hotel room, tracking down Lou. But go ahead and do the Daquan T scene first.
That's basic. Oh, Daquan, yeah.
I think Daquan kind of responds with the individual still there, just slightly turns to the right and just kind of says, "This is guns. Okay. Room code names? What?
Yes, guns and glitters. What did I even say? Glitter fairy?
Glitter fairy.
Okay, good.
I'm so hyped. He has this huge spy impression, and we're just like, Jisoo's gonna humor it all the way.
Good.
Yes.
I'll step into the room and pull my hand out really dramatically and say, "Codename Guns is on his way up. We better clear this room."
The crinkle of a chocolate wrapper.
Did you get that from this room? You shouldn't be eating our evidence, Antal.
Okay, could I signal to T and Jisoo to search the room while I open the minibar, grab whatever's strongest, and splash it in the face of the captive?
Yeah. And he wakes up, he sees you, just go, here are some things, and as far as the room goes, so let's talk about it. So, there's travel documents all over this place. There's, just pocket litter, things of that nature. It looks like there's documents that T would recognize, as would Jisoo, on vampire folklore, grave sites where bodies are buried, and all of this information, you can tell, came from the same source that would have contacted Antal. Like, Jisoo would pick up, there's this similar data signature, so whoever is sending this to Antal is also in communication with Jisoo. Now, there's also a scribbled note with an address here in Marrakesh for an individual named Hassan Safet. And it looks like it was written very, very hastily, as if someone had dictated this over the phone, and she got out of here very, very quickly. Now, if you'd like to spend a point in Tradecraft or Streetwise, I can give you a little more information.
Is those documents, you mentioned something about a digital signature, are they digital documents on electronics?
Here's what I would say. It's a combination of printouts and there's in the headers of the information, like, you can see where it was, like, printed. The encryption is similar. You can sort of see the same data signature.
But there aren't any, like, electronic devices around here.
There's like an old Kindle.
Okay. Yeah, I was just asking because I have digital intrusion, so I was like, could I intrude digitally?
Absolutely.
Anywhere?
Yes. On the Kindle, you see that there are backup files of all the documents that you can see kind of strewn about. And there's a lot of information being kept about a mining project in the Carpathian Mountains. That's in Romania.
Okay, mining project in Romania. Great.
Yes. And it looks like that there's a dig site of some sort.
So there's a dig site here, and there's one in Romania.
No, in Romania.
Oh, all of the dig sites. Okay,
yes.
Cool.
I'm rarely a player who takes notes, ever, but I'm doing so in this game, apparently.
Same. I'll relay that to the group. I'll just be like, a lot of self-help books in here. I understand what a mood, but also a lot of really interesting documents tracing back to Romania and dig sites, probably something to do with these vampires.
I'm half listening because I have my knee in the guy's testicles right now. And I'm like, talk. I say that in Arabic.
You can tell he kind of struggles to speak Arabic. You can tell this. He talks to you, even though he's like an old man, he's got the dad bod, the gray eyebrows. He sounds like he's talking like a teenager, like he lived here when he was a kid. And it's like outdated slang. And like,
I roll my eyes and slap him, and I start speaking in English.
Okay. So, I was educated at Cambridge.
I slap him, and I'm like,
you're not here. Please don't hit me anymore. I don't heal as quickly as I used to. He goes, I was recruited by a man named Jack in Gibraltar. And I was paid good money to come here and take out an American.
Okay, I'm writing notes down. Jack hired the. There's notes we have to clean up later. I'm gonna say, tell me everything you know about Jack.
He is different than us. He has changed.
I narrow my eyes because I know what he means, I think. And I'm like, where is their mark right now?
From what I hear, and he looks at the radio, there's so this is what you hear over the radio, because there's a guy in the open air cafe that Daquan had talked to. He's like, don't worry, the special operative is here. He thought Daquan was the Jack,
right.
And he's like, yeah, we're going to send the Jack down to the Mala to take care of Olivia Liu. He goes, as he's hearing this, he goes, the Jack wasn't supposed to be here till nightfall. That's early. That's kind of your tip that Daquan probably conned him.
Right. I knee him a bit stronger, and I jerk my head towards the walkie-talkie, and I say that everything's okay.
All right. We will meet up with the Jack. There was no problems in here.
Jess, your face is great right now.
How are you? He kind of says, and then he shrugs at you. He's like, I'm not a good liar. Hardness is like, well, I'm a little dehydrated, but thank you for asking. You know, typically it's about you. It's nice that it's about me.
I mean, my girlfriend just got back together. It's really good.
And you picked up that the man in the cafe's name is Hartness. You did pick up on that.
Okay. Can someone else note that? I'm running out of note space.
While this is happening, and I'm doing this, with my Drive 10, I have like Grand Theft on it. Can I jump on one of their bikes and head to that place while telling them that there's a kill squad?
Yes.
Sent to thing. So like while doing that, I'll tell them the location. I'm gonna head off.
All right. And that is straight up what's going on now. So we are going to enter a chase scene where the chase is on. So there is a track where you are trying to get the track to a certain score, like 0, which means you've met the target. Meanwhile, other people are trying to outpace you there. There is a group of somewhere between 12 to 20 individuals, a kill squad, that are closing in on Olivia Liu. You're going to have to use all of your investigative and agent abilities to outpace them to get there. So the way it's going to work is the target number is 4. That is the number you're going to try to beat on the dice. But you're going to tell me as the agents what investigative abilities that you would like to use to get there. What I also recommend for notes is that maybe we set up a shared Google Doc and we color code our notes, and we can do that. All the information, though, that's in this initial encounter, I have typed up, and I'll give you guys as well, or you folks. So, all right. Let's go over to Daquan. So the way this is going to work is the bad guys have abilities as well, and they can spend their investigative abilities to attempt to close in. If you use an investigative ability, I'll give you 3 points to a roll, or you can spend your other skills and try to close in. All the rest of you, you know where Olivia is. She's in the Mala. You can use your parkour, you can use your firearms, you can use whatever. Everyone else is trying to close in as quickly as possible. They are under the impression that a special operative is here. Mm-hmm. It's actually Daquan, though.
Right. And we were clued in on that because of the timing and stuff like that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, Daquan, let me know any points you'd like to spend, and then these are going to be straight rolls.
Okay, I'm going to spend drive, so I'm going to spend 2 drive. And as I hop on this bike, I'm going to basically go through the alleyways and just zip through as fast as I can, kind of cutting through the track. Because if there's going to be a hit squad, they're most likely they're in like big Humvees and they're taking the road, and I want to get there quickly.
What are you driving, Daquan?
It's a motorcycle, right?
Their bike was, yeah. So I still would have my motorcycles.
Yes.
So some like zooped up little thing. Yeah, so I'm gonna spend 2 points and I'm gonna roll, and then we're gonna pray here. 4, so I just cut it.
See how they did as well. 3. You're closing in. You are outracing them to Olivia Liu. What about the rest of you? How are you doing in the great chase?
So can I just close out the last scene?
Yeah.
With first he said he went to Cambridge and I went to Oxford, so I don't like him. So
I threw that in there.
Yeah, I don't like him. But I knee him further, and I'm like, you are going to forget this mark right now, or you will be my next mark. And then I knock him out, like out cold.
He's out.
And then I lock the door from the inside, and I'm gonna use parkour and like leap across the rooftop. Like I think in the beginning of the latest James Bond is like in Morocco leaping across rooftops. So picture that, but picture Antal Khoury.
I love it. So go ahead and let me know what points you'd like to spend.
So I think parkour, I don't remember the specific rules of parkour, so forget that for now, but it's athletics.
You get an extra 3, so just go ahead and add 3 to the roll.
Great, so I'm going to spend 1 point of athletics, so that'll be an extra 4, so /R 1d6 plus 4. Perfect.
You can see as you're running across the rooftops, you see other individuals too trying to get across the roofs. There's a lot of them. There's people down low, they're up high, and they're closing in. You are far more proficient than they are, though.
Can there be a scene where I'm like tightrope walking across a clothesline, like tightrope running, like
yeah, and then there's like dangling clothes, and you move them out of your face, and then you kind of spin while you're on it, and you're real slick moving from rooftop to rooftop, and then as you get on the other roof,
dangling abaya, and I like fling it into the face of one of the people who's like chasing us. And
we'll get there. We'll get there. Let's go ahead and skip to Jisoo. Jisoo, describe how you are assisting in this chase.
I look at T and I'm like, I'm not going to be able to catch up, but I can do my best to track the Humvee. Can I throw off the GPS?
Absolutely. In fact, it's one of those.
They're all computerized. Zooped up.
Yep. Yes! It's one of those things you're like, we'll just switch east and west.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is why Jisoo doesn't need to know that I respect her. She knows I respect her.
Mm-hmm. Swerve. Okay. Would that be digital intrusion, I would think?
Yeah, let's go ahead and use that.
Yeah, I'm a hella spend 2 points in digital. And pull that up. Oh. Do. Are you rolling dice?
I am.
You're making me nervous.
Okay.
That's a 4.
Okay, so it's one of those things. You notice you get control of their GPS,
right?
And it's almost one of those things. So it switches. The sunglass wearing individual looks down at it and kind of sees it swip, and then just flips it upside down, and then is like invert controls, and a steering wheel flips upside down. I don't know. It's one of those 5 things. Yes. So he's like, I got this.
Don't question it.
All right.
Yeah.
So, with that, T, you're on deck for assisting in the chase.
I feel like I'm just like watching Jisoo and I'm like, oh my god, Jisoo, you're so smart. That is so sneaky. Hey, what if you tried this? And can I also digitally intrude to like boost?
Yeah.
Or do another
infiltrate,
and I'll like lean over?
Acceleration? We're like, no, okay, if we got the GPS, it's acceleration.
It's one of those things where you're like, They're driving Teslas. Would be a shame if someone overrid the controls.
And changed all of the music to Gregorian chants.
When I was doing my fifth year thesis in engineering school, one of the projects was not build something, it was try and hack into this car, was the entire project.
Wow.
Oh, I love that.
What you do?
Yeah.
All right, so I will spend 3 on that and do this. And that is going to be a 5.
Woo.
All right, brilliant. So you are, you notice it's like whoa, whoa, and then like the music like switches over. What music do you switch it to? You gotta
Gregorian chants.
Okay, Gregorian chants. I was about
climatic music.
Okay, I was about to say if it's like, oh look, I've got a mixtape I made just for losers, and then starts with the Gregorian chant, boom, 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 and they're like, no, this totally kills my vibe. All right, Daquan, bring us home. So it's one of these things. You can see there's one last agent. There's going to be a narrow entrance. It's kind of like a game of chicken. You are going to have to outmaneuver them to get into the gap before them. Whoever doesn't make it is probably going to explode in a fiery death. No.
Nice. Okay, that's my game, yo. I'm gonna.
Guns.
Those are stakes.
So I have in one of my abilities, it's the kind of auto succeed ones. If you just say you're gonna use it,
you can do that, and you like shades, sigh.
So the one I wanted to use was architecture. So I want to know like basically how to kind of position the bike. So instead of it going straight, I can actually go on top of some of the buildings and get ahead of the person. Literally,
Yes.
And then like jump over it.
It's one of those things. Yeah, you hit a plank of wood right over an awning. On a drain pipe. You're going very fast, so as it's falling behind you, you're just like full throttling it, and then jump a wheelie over, land on the other roof. The guy looks up and sees you and is just like, oh, and then, because it was, what happened? Not what he was
Slowly
expecting.
take my shades off them in the air.
And
Guns.
with that, we end the chase.
Nice.
And
Oh, that was exciting.
we are going to reveal the individual you've been cheating or chasing after. Olivia. Yeah, we're going to reveal the individual you're cheating, so we're going to go to my Facebook and open all my messages. No, I'm kidding. So you have closed in on American journalist
Right.
Olivia Liu, who I have brought up her photo for the audience. And all right, so Daquan, you see that she is like nervously vaping, and she sees shocked to see you like just kind of drop from the roof and land like right in front of a newsstand, and she's just like, "Gah!"
Come with me if you want to live.
Ah, yes.
How can I be sure? Do you have a point of reassurance?
Do.
Does anyone?
I don't
One
know.
remaining?
I'm not there.
We're in his
I
heart/ear, right?
You are, and it's one of those things. You're not that far behind. You could be coming in.
I don't. I'm not an interpersonal person. It's like
You're not. Yeah, you see, and she's just like, well, she's not gonna run from you. She's just like, I try to run from these guys with guns and before, and it doesn't
If
work
I
out.
arrive, I can do something, but yeah.
Yeah, you guys, you're all, remember, you're parkouring, so this is one
Okay.
of those things where, like, you almost, like, parachute in with a stolen pair of balloon pants.
Bloomers. Bloomers.
Yes.
I parachute in with a pair of bloomers and I land gently behind Daquan. After I hear him say, "Come with me if you want to live," and she said, "How do I know?" And I have a point of reassurance, so I'm gonna be like, am I spending it or am I just doing it because I have a point?
It is a spend.
Okay. So now I have 0. And I'm gonna be like, he's right. Because I don't want to. I'm not. It's his
so
line.
reassuring.
Yeah, it's his lines. I want him to have the line, right? But I'm like, he's right.
All right, so you get in, and she goes, all right, let's go someplace just like
I'm
that.
so reassured.
All right.
I just landed in a parachute, and I'm like, he's right. She's like, okay, love it, love it.
He's hot. That's true.
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right. That's good. I've seen it all
Yeah,
now.
when you're hot, people just maybe trust you more, you know?
Jesus.
Well, that's why no one trusts me. No, they're like, listen here, old butterface. No, but no. Sorry, chat. Can we get an F in chat for my my cheeks? No. So
They're great.
all right. So, she goes, we need to go someplace we can talk. And you notice that she is headed towards, she's going through this market district, and she's actually leading the way to a cemetery.
Ooh.
Yeah, she's trying to...
Jisoo calmly hands me my jacket back, I'm guessing.
100%. I dusted off.
I ditched a bike, by the way.
Oh,
Ooh.
it wasn't not you. It was just a random bike.
It was stolen
No.
from the guys you beat up.
Oh, okay.
All right. So at any point, the rest of the group can arrive if they want. And she puts her vape away. She cracks open a can of Red Bull. It's 8.4 ounces. It's small. And she just kind of like does it real fast, crushes the can nervously. And she's like, all right, what do you want to know? You ask the right
Okay.
questions, I'll give the right answers.
So that's fine. But first, like, no, give me the vape. No more energy drinks. What is wrong with you? I looked at your file. Your last name is Lou. What are you doing?
Hands it over nervously and just kind of, gives you the knowing nod and is like, times
No
are
good
tough.
journalist can vape. No one's going to take you seriously.
They don't need to know. I can lie. People do it all the time. It's the internet.
Can you?
Depends.
Are we at this?
That's how you got
Yeah,
here.
you're at
isn't
the
it?
cemetery now, and like there's families there mourning. They're like, this is really inappropriate, this conversation. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. So while the more conversant people are doing the chatting, I'm standing like still against a tree or something and keeping an eye out.
Yeah. It's one of those things you're like,
Antal's like from one. tree
Antal
to the
pulls
other.
out a makeshift ghillie suit and like blends in with the one tree.
The mourning families. Never see them.
All right, so we're gonna we'll spin around in at this point, Daquan or T or Jisoo, you can ask any questions. So she goes, all right. I'm not gonna vape. I'm not gonna drink the energy drinks. It's just it's been a long day.
T will step forward and she'll just kind of like hold out a hand, not to like shake, but more as just like an almost comfort without physically touching, and just say, first thing, the most important question, are you okay? That looked really scary.
I think so. And it's one of those things. She's kind of oblivious that there was like a kill squad in her hotel. And she didn't really realize that 12 individuals were closing in to kill her. Which you all know now. The ones that didn't blow themselves up, they backed way the heck off. So it's like, they're like, this isn't good. Well, at least our special operative's there. Not realizing. Wait till the special operative does show up. Someone stole my thunder?
Cool.
Yeah,
So,
she's like, it's been hard. And she tells you outright, T, she goes, look, ever since I started looking into the corporate corruption and I started receiving those messages from Harker, my life has gone to hell.
Parker?
Yeah,
So-
Harker in London, right? That they were trying to get to.
Yes. Do any of you have any remaining points in data recovery or
I have
any other electronic skills?
digital intrusion. I still have one.
That might
left.
work. So, what she does is she opens up, she has other electronic devices different than the Kindle that was left back. She starts showing you files, and she's showing you photos of, similar to what you saw in her hotel, this Romanian dig site. And she goes, so Harker let me know that there was a mining operation in Romania. It seemed on the up and up, but for whatever reason, they got permits to, like, dig on holy ground, like they were tearing up a monastery. Not only that, they were uncovering other ancient ruins. And I decided to go investigate. But when I got close, I got shot at. And every night since then, I've dreamed of a man with red eyes. They burn like a fire. And then she wants to vape again, but she doesn't have it. She handed it to Jisoo.
Would I know?
Unfiltered.
With my one in archaeology, which was, remember, my minor at Oxford. I don't know if Oxford does minors, but we're gonna say
they do in this fiction.
Would I know anything about ruins in Romania or anything like that?
This is what you know. Looking at these photos, they're very clearly a medieval castle. And you know that these castles, based on looking at them, this is Transylvania. And if Harker's involved, this has to deal with most likely the vast global vampire conspiracy that these individuals are being digging up. What you notice as well, T, all this information was sent from London, and you actually picked down the source. There is a Catholic church in London where the it's actually not a Catholic church, it's a Church of England. They're Protestant, sending these data files from. And the data signature matches the information that was sent to Untal. It's the exact same person who's sending the information.
I say we need to go to London and find Harker before these people do.
With that as well, and with the area and like the medieval kind of scape, I have 1 point art history. Was there anything kind of relating to any specific kind of paintings or writings or anything like that?
I love how a liberal arts spies just say.
I know, right? That may give me a hint of like what people may have wrote about or seen, like dark voices in the night, terrors at like Hallows Eve, anything that might indicate like kind of what vampire conspiracy might be going around in like the ephemera.
So I will tell you this much. It is a very superstitious area. Years ago, early, mid 15th century, there was an individual known as Vlad the Impaler. In a lot of those villages, he was a bad individual. He went in and he would just, murder the children. He'd murder the men and the women. He was known as something of a psychopath. And is one of the primary sources for much of the vampire mythos that we have in the world. With that said, who knows how much of this was embellishment, who knows how much of it was scary stories, but you as an individual that has come into close contact with vampires knows that there's probably more truth to these stories than meets the eyes.
Ooh. Interesting.
So as you say that, until with London, I say, agreed. Also as well, there's supposed to be a very prominent spot for Vlad the Impaler, which is one of the key figures.
I nod. I'm like,
Would I be...
I'm also eating an apple. I want to be like, in Ocean's 11, Brad Pitt, every scene, he's like eating something. I kind of want to do that. So I'm like eating an apple right now, and I nod like, good, like I understand.
At some point, we stop questioning where you get your goods.
Yeah.
It's one of my hidden powers. Food supply, infinite food supply.
Amazing. Would I know any more vampire lore about this vampire conspiracy or Vlad the Impaler?
Oh, yeah. You know that Vlad the Impaler...
Did I used to party with Vlad?
You did not.
Damn.
Most of these stories are old and ridiculous, but you do remember in your club scene, in the old mafia days, that you were told not to go there. It's like, that is not a party town, and there's different kinds of vampires. we don't truck with those kinds. And, you were always advised never to end up in that scene. So here's, Olivia lets you know that she is looking to meet her contact, Hassan. And Hassan's going to get her out of here. Fortuitously, he arrives on the scene. So what I'd like to do is we're going to take 5 minutes so we can all stretch as players and come up with our next game plan. And then we will move into our final hour of the broadcast, and you'll decide which of your leads you want to track down. So there's Harker, who is in London. There's a dig site in Romania, as well as you understand that there are agents coming from Gibraltar.
Yeah, where there's a facility.
There's a facility. So with that, what I'm going to do is go ahead and put us on a pause screen, and then we'll be back in 5. So chat, don't go away. I hope you're enjoying the show. This is episode 1 of our Dracula Dossier campaign. Absolutely love these players. Isn't this a great cast? And by all, helps if I don't mute myself before I do that. The show's sponsored by Pelgrane Press, so do check out the links as they are circulated through the chat. Don't go away. It's some player talk at the table as we wait for Sharong to come back with a snack.
No, I'm embodying my character. I have a snack.
Yeah, just like Egon from Ghostbusters. He's like always eating snacks.
Yup.
Okay, good, because you made me so hungry I had to grab food on the break, and I was like, oh no, we're coming back. But also, I'm going to eat this food.
So I have the locations up on the screen for the audience to see. We have essentially Romania, London, and Gibraltar. Romania has a dig site, an excavation where medieval ruins are being explored. London is where Harker, the individual who's been contacting Antal and Olivia, is located. And then there's also secret agents coming out of Gibraltar. That would be the equivalent of, oh, there's enemies. Let's check out their headquarters and try to kill them all. No, Solid Snake style. So I'm curious from the group, and we are out of character right now. What leads you think you would like to chase down? And you could talk about it. Jess has already mentioned chasing down Harker in London.
Can we do
Their
multiple?
name is Harker, and freaking Olivia has nightmares of a man with red eyes.
Mm-hmm.
That hooks me in.
Will we be able to do multiple, or do we have to single do one? Like, it's like smash cut.
You'll smash cut and do one, but you still have the other leads. You can always go and check them out.
Okay.
I think we should. So my character was gonna say we should do London because we need to get to this person before they do, since they said we're after Harker or something, and this was a time pressure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes sense. London's also my character's home turf, so.
Yeah, I would agree with doing the most time-pressing ones first. And if there's like a dig site in Romania, it's probably not going to go anywhere in the next week or so, I'm guessing. Hopefully.
It moved. Where?
Oh no.
The whole dig site. I think Daquan would offer up their MI6 contacts, like some of the people that they would know from the business.
All right. You're going to be able to get into London fairly easily. And this is going to be, we don't have to roleplay out buying the plane tickets and picking and switching seats on the airplane. I know, there's those players just like, look, I have points. that I'm going to spend, and these are my frequent flyer miles as an agent. So what we're going to do is we're going to refresh our physical skills and all of our general abilities, because enough time will have passed for that to happen. Not all of your investigative abilities refresh, though. Those will happen at the end of the operation. So let's make our way to London. So when you arrive in London, there's a couple things that I assume you need to do. So you do know that this individual is in the Church of St. Mary the Virgin. That's the name of the church. But you're going to have to figure out, are you going to make digital contact beforehand? Are you going to try to just pop in? Are there different... do you want to figure out more about the church itself? Do you want to stake them out for a few days? Let me know how you would like to do it.
This is Harker, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this would be Antal's contact? So probably would be like elbow, elbow, nudge, nudge. How do y'all usually talk?
Nice.
I'm going to say, while we're traveling, I should email him from the email account that he sent me something from. But when I get there, I'm really worried about them finding him. So I don't want to spend time sticking out the place. I want to just, and I'm an infiltration person, right? Go in, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, right? So when we land, I'm going to just like,
You're going
on the way, like on the plane, we should like email him and stuff. Totally.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
Okay, you go ahead, Daquan. You go first, and then I'm going to give you some information.
I was gonna say, as you're doing that and on the way there, I'm gonna look up with my architectural point. I'm gonna look up the blueprints of the place in the surrounding area, so we know kind of like any underground passages, any kind of sewer access, things like that.
There is a single road with a turnabout that runs up to the church. There's not great sewage access from here at this part of the city. But there are a few things that this is... the church is made to look a lot older than it actually is. It's only, 150 years old, but it's in a very distinct Victorian Gothic style. There are gargoyles around it. If one of you would like to lean on your vampirology... and I will say this, with investigative abilities, even if you spend all of your points in them, if you still know the skill, you can still use it. You just won't have points to spend to get extra information.
Do you actually know this church in real life by any chance? Because it is in London, and you are in London right now, right?
Me? No, I'm not in London.
The middle country.
Okay. When I thought you were my home turf, I thought you were like literally it's also my home turf.
So okay. Pro works as a parishioner at the church. No, I'm just kidding. Plays the organ. No, that if you were the organist for a church, that would be bad. It's just Dracula every week.
It's my brand.
I forgot I had a drink right here. I apologize. Olivia gave up the energy drinks, but Crad Ellis has not. With the vampirology skills, that you have to go across multiple rivers to get to this church. That ties into the vampire thing. And also, Harker would be hiding on consecrated ground surrounded by water, like trying to not, just like the vampires are after me. Not only that, you would know T based on your shrink ability. This is sloppy. This is someone at their wit's end. This is an individual that does not feel... they have much left to go on. Do any of you have bullshit detector?
Yes. Oh, beat me.
So when the emails come back to Untall, Harker's explaining that he has obtained a dossier, and this dossier has information about a certain Operation Edom. This is an old organization. He claims it goes back well over 100 years. And everything that he has is legit and on the up and up. He feels so guilty, though, after Olivia was nearly killed, that he needs to get out of this business. Your bullshit detector would tell you if this is 100% honest, he must have a dossier, and he does feel extremely guilty.
Nice. And we as you like voice that, you're like, he's probably telling the truth. I'm like, yeah, he did send us all this intel, which turned out to be correct, but he sent me to this person, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm really good at telling people's true motivations and intentions through email. It's an art.
I take the coffee on the plane.
He double spaced.
Every time you do that, I feel like T is just tempted to like smash that cup into your face, just a little like, oh gosh. But she doesn't, because I'm a professional.
Lol. I don't actually cough in character. That was me choking on my own water.
That was me picturing me shoving the coffee mug in your face, and
that was the dream. The cut into what you're thinking. That was that right there.
Also, as well, Grant, if I could as well, from the architectural stuff, I'd also like to look at the kind of like the window angles and kind of see if I would know any good possible sniper spots, so that when we go, I'm aware of like.
There is a high tower. A bell tower, and that is the position where a sniper would sit. And as the gang begins to approach the long gravelly road that heads up, at the end of the road there is a single automobile parked in front of the church. It's not a very large church. It does go up fairly high. It's designed to look older than it is. And there is a high spire, and there are some ugly-looking gargoyles. Does any of you have a outdoor survival skill?
Yes, I do. I have.
That was the correct sound.
Yeah, I'm like, Jisoo and Antal like outdoor survival. What?
Yes, I do have outdoor survival. Where is my outdoor survival? I have a
All
2.
right. As you look at the church, you see that there is an exceptionally large bat circling the spire up high. Also, the door to the church, you can even see, like, it zooms down your eyesight. The front of the church is open right now. And this air is much colder than Morocco. This is...
Oh, yeah. Well, since many of us have really high disguise, can we be dressed up like silly tourists?
Is that our shtick here?
Like it's a church in London, like we could be tourists here looking at like churches in London or something.
Various American sports team jerseys.
Yeah, we could be
No,
dressed,
do we have like really... Sorry. Like really cheesy
Disneyland.
British accents that make Pro cringe?
Oh, and you role play it.
Hell yes.
Oh, would you look at that artwork over there? It is fascinating.
I always wanted to come to London.
Cracking good church!
Stunning!
Boy, today's Christmas Day.
But all of these accents are smoothed over by our high infiltration and disguise.
High disguise.
Oof.
Are there people who work at this church? Like, are there...
There should be a parishioner, but it doesn't look like anyone's in. You know that Harker's there. Right about...
I'm going to pretend to take photos of the... Ooh, look at that. But I'm going to... If Daquan signals about the bat subtly, I'm going to make sure to take photos of the, like, bat and the car and that kind of thing.
Yeah, you get photos of all
Also
that.
have a 2 in photography.
Yeah, so maybe you do that. I have a 0 in photography. Maybe you're the photo tourist and T.
Keep going around Antal. I'm like, no, sweetheart, just a little to the left.
To the
Just
left.
gotta get the right angle.
Love it.
Oh, no. My little chest hurts from all that. But, where's Colin Falconet when we need him? But all right. So it is then where you see a haunting scene. You are roughly 300 feet, not 300 feet, about 35 feet from the automobile in front of the church with the cracked open door. And just about then, high up at the bell tower, you see a man appear. He's dressed very much like myself. He's wearing a nice, everyday sports coat. He sent a photo to Antal to recognize him. He turns and he looks. He sees Antal. This is the first time your eyes have actually met. And he is holding in his arms a collection of documents. Right about then, a muzzle flash goes off. There's a red explosion from his chest. He falls from the bell tower, landing on the hood of his car, crashing it. A tall man with ruddy features, ruffled hair, his eyes are red, and he has a bright red scar on his face, appears in the bell tower too, and looks down where he fell, holding the pistol. And you see just then, at the end of the gravelly road, 2 large black vans pulling up. What do you do?
Jacket's coming off, bitches. I'm gonna be like, good gracious, what was that? And I like run towards Harker. Like
Dead Harker?
What was that?
dead Harker?
Yes,
Harker is
because he's
completely
carrying
dead. He has
documents.
died either from the gun rooms or the thing, but you can grab any of the documents he has.
Yeah, he
so
was
it's a big
dead.
thing.
So I'm gonna put in my I'm used to this, so I'm gonna still pretend to be a concerned tourist, like, oh no, a man has just died, and I run up to him and I grab I want to I pretend to be like checking, is he okay, and surreptitiously slip all the documents I can get my hands on into my tourist backpack.
Daquan, your military science would tell you right now, this is one of those situations where you get the heck out of there. Like this is not a stick around situation.
Okay, I'm going to run over to where Antol is, but where he's gone to the body, I'm gonna go underneath the car, and I'm going to, if I can, jerry rig a small pipe bomb, and wait for us to kind of get to a point, and then set it so we can go off like a small fuse.
Gloves have come off.
So we have cover.
This is going to be a explosives check, difficulty 5.
Nice.
If you have other abilities you'd like to suggest, by all means.
Would
Like,
drive?
that's my MOS. You can drive if you're sending the car towards them.
Because does drive also allow me to understand like vehicles and things like that and how it would work?
Mechanics would allow that.
I have mechanics, yes. I have both. So can I fork it in?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to use 4 explosives and 2 mechanics to succeed.
Okay, I'll allow that.
If I can.
So
I can't.
go ahead and spend those points and mark them off, and you just send the car wheeling and it explodes. Now, this elite kill team, how many points total did you spend?
I spent the amount, so I spent 4.
You spent
and
5,
2, so
or something like
6.
that. 6. Yeah. So let's see if they. There's 2 cars that are going to try to swerve out of the way. The first one is caught in this explosion. So is the second one. So both of them are just. They go careening. Now, there's a large explosion. You notice one of the vans is knocked over on its side, but the door is open. The vans themselves have not exploded. One just sort of went off the gravel road and into a tree, but it's looking to get its, essentially get back on course. I need to know from the group quickly what they do as the follow-up.
I woke up and just say, time to go.
Yeah, we should split up and get away so that they can't easily follow us.
Yeah, 100% agree. But also, while you two run off and do that, I'm gonna like elbow nudge Jisoo and just like see if we can get a photo of that person.
Yeah.
Ooh,
That was
nice.
definitely my thing. I was like, if it
Nice.
works, but I think you and I both know it's gonna show up a little something.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I'll take a shot at it, but we gotta dip.
Mm-hmm.
You shoot what you can, and your suspicions are correct as you process the photo and capture no image. And with
Is it like blurry or something, or is there like no one there, like crisply clean in the photo?
this is what so it's funny, it's one of these things. I imagine you have a couple of different imaging technologies. One tries to hypothesize what would be there, and you kind of see like a blurriness where it would be. The other one, everything looks out of focus except where that area is, and that looks like crisp, sharp, almost as if it was shot at 2 different depths of field, impossibly. The third is just digital noise and aliasing. The digital processor, there's quantization errors. It can't calculate exactly what's supposed to be there. So it's like,
so cool.
yeah, it's like
Quantization
we
errors.
have these really look. I don't know about you. I just want a cup of coffee on the job site. You and your quantization errors, Grant Ellis. I mean, just not trying to preach here, but no, yeah. So it's just like, that's normal. So here's what I'd like everyone to do. I'd like you to describe to the place you would go to ground and where you would hide and how you would try to get there. The kill squad And Morocco, they were more like B leaguers. They were the pickup game brute squad. This is a team trained to specifically kill individuals such as yourselves. Daquan is very familiar. They are at least his caliber or higher. So, although he's like, but it's not like we've actually gone toe to toe. So it is up to you. So we'll go around. So I'd like to hear from Daquan, Jisoo, Antal, then T.
Daquan's seeing this, an explosion happens, and they obviously walk away and button up their suit because cool movie. They just dart into the alleyway, and as they dart into the alleyway, they're going to go around and head to Piccadilly Circus and head to the tube because it's going to be jam packed.
Got it. So what I'd like you to do is let's talk about maybe your abilities that would help you get there, either human terrain or urban survival or any of them that you have.
I have 2 in urban survival.
All right. So using the first point allows you to get away. The second one is also going to allow you to set up like an impromptu safe house where it's like, I have a spot we can use in town before we get out of town to figure out what have we obtained. Jisoo, you're on deck.
Let's see. I imagine we rode up into rental cars or the likes, and I'll actually dash to one and take the wheel for the first time.
Okay. So you jump in, you take the wheel. You're going to have to charge towards the vans. What I need you to do is make a driving check, difficulty 6, because they are going to try to gun your car down and catch you.
Okay, this is fine. If one has only 1 in driving and then expends that point but rolls poorly, how do we translate effort? Is there an effort?
Well,
thinking in cipher system.
Not so much, but here we can think about it a different way. What skills do you have that you're good at? Because your character wouldn't do something that they're necessarily bad at unless it was high risk. So let's talk about some of the things you're good at to reframe. So maybe it's one of those things where you're like, you rented the Tesla and you're like, all right, computer, evasive maneuvers. And like,
yeah, so
you.
like
Your
mechanics 10, infiltration 10, mechanics 6. So my concept is like I could jerry rig, soup up this car, do what I need to, like try and get it in and out and offer a getaway.
All right. Go ahead and spend your mechanics.
Okay. Cool. Okay. So is it like 2 or 3? If I spend out of mechanics, do I also spend out of driving?
I'd like you to spend mechanics first, and then we're going to see if you can sort of get this up. It's like, you're going to go into Godzilla mode.
Yeah, I spent 3 and got a 1, so 4 total.
So what happens is you realize the car's not the right strategy.
It isn't. I dash away.
Yeah, your best guess is to destroy any digital evidence of who rented these cars, like even the aliases.
For sure.
So if you'd like to use one of your technology skills, the consequence is they're going to get a hold of the car. They're probably going to ask some questions about how the individuals looked. And while you're doing this, they're going to get a very clean photo of your face. But
a wink at the camera.
Yeah. They're not going to kill you. So what ability do you want to use and expend to sponge the record? They won't know your name.
Digital intrusion sounds applicable here.
All right. So you spend that. And it's one of those things, too, where I imagine you had an Uber ready to go. It's one of those things you called an Uber, a Lyft, and a local taxi. And then you pick one of them to go into. And they're going to take you to the safe house. Yeah, it's one of those like, look, I've got apps for this. All right, T, how are you getting out of this situation?
Would I be able to see if Antal got all of the documents? Does it look like he has them?
Looks like he did. They're stained in blood.
Some of them are bloodstained, yeah.
Cool. Seeing this Lyft and Uber and taxi pull up, can I just hop into whichever one wasn't taken?
100%.
Yeah.
And as you jump in, though, I assume it's kind of like Expendus Streetwise, and you give them the name, and then like, and you just kind of mumble, and they're like, "Yeah, that's close enough. We don't recognize. we don't know this. Whatever. There's a body in the car. We get paid by the mile," and they take off. Now,
Cool.
Antal, did we discuss how you get out of this situation? I love how the light is going down where you're at, so it's like getting darker and darker and more ominous for you.
Do you want me to turn it on, or do you like?
No, I like this.
Okay, so I'm gonna use my modus operandi. So some random tourist called an ambulance. So I'm gonna whip out of my backpack. I'm gonna whip out my paramedic. I have a lab coat, but imagine it's more doctor paramedic outfit. And I'm going to just get into one of the like random ambulances and disguise myself with my modus operandi as a medical personnel. As the ambulance leaves, I go along with them.
Make a. So there's a couple ways we're gonna do this. So
Yeah.
the first, I would say you could spend a certain amount of network where you've had an individual that you've planted in the ambulance. That's like, this is the doctor, get on. And and you have another contact who's pretending to be like the body. Is like, yeah, my job's to pretend to be wounded, and the ambulance is actually.
So if this is my MOS, does that contribute?
Oh, MOS is automatic.
Right. Yeah. That's what I meant. Yeah. So I'm going to use it as my MOS because I really want to do it the first session of the game. Use my MOS.
All right. So yeah, it's just automatic. So there's an ambulance team that's there, and it's like, go.
Yes,
They're like,
camera, pan. Yeah, the ambulance team is there, and then suddenly there's like a very incredibly handsome, half Lebanese, half Hungarian doctor who's suddenly there. He's like, yes, we need to leave now. He's unstable. And I'm like, even though he's dead, but whatever.
That's pretty unstable.
I would argue it's pretty stable, to be fair. But yeah, I get in the ambulance completely disguised. My backpack, I had it like inside out, like I turned the backpack inside out so it looks like another kind of bag, whatever. Yeah.
all right, you get out. There's a large hubbub. Every individual on that ambulance except one person is a past accomplice of yours that have helped you on missions in the past. And they're like, this call was too close and we don't know what's with those vans. But that one that got knocked over, they got out and they pushed it back up. They did a 10-person lift with their strong arms. Yeah.
Should lift with their legs, actually.
They tried. They're like, oh, herniated discs. How dare we?
I'm so glad I brought this lab coat out. Just saying, it was so relevant right now.
it works, and it's sharp looking. So
I once wore this at Gen Con. People were like, great costume, and I'm like, honey, this lab coat has had so much human waste on it from my actual days in lab. You have no idea. But I didn't say that. I'm like, thank you.
So when the group gets back together, they get to Daquan's safe house. And I'm going to put this on screen. They find a collection, a folder. Inside is a yellow-covered, purple-spined first edition copy of the novel Dracula. And in this novel, and I've brought this up for the audience, they see that written all throughout it are... it helps if I zoom in on the right pages. They see that written all throughout it are notes written in various colors by different handwritings. There's names of organizations that sound familiar. One that Harker explained, Edom, Operation Edom. And every page has various clues and leads deeper into the vampire conspiracy. And there is also a belief with Harker's dying words that he gave you that this document, this dossier, gets right to the heart of the vampire conspiracy itself. And with that, we're going to bring our first session to a close and kind of talk about how we felt about it as players, and then where we can find each other online. So,
let's turn the light on right now.
By all means.
We need to see a lovely face. It's the hair that sells this game.
I'm so excited. This is the first stream in which I've done multiple costume changes.
Mad applause.
So,
are you really streaming if you don't do multiple costume changes?
You got to. One of my favorite sessions was when we planned. The goal for the Game Master was I want every character to do 5 costume changes and change their identity 5 different times. It was insane.
Yes.
And we were on a train. And it was just every car. So let's go around and let everyone, how do we enjoy today's session and where can we find each other online? So let's start with playing Daquan, Pro Restarter Pro. How was that for an intro?
Hey, it was really good. It was really fun. I loved it. Everyone's characters are super interesting and unique. Loving the nicknames going on. Just loving the always food and just the Jisoo always having to just be like, they're fine, they're skilled. Just believe me, it's all right. It's all right. So it's super fun. So thank you for having me. But I am Pro Restarter. You can catch me on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram, all over the same name. I do a bunch of stuff. Some secret stuff coming out soon-ish, so look out for that. But mostly you can just find me here, enjoying my vampire life and just possibly gonna date some vampires. That's my goal.
Yeah, definitely follow Pro online, Pro Restarter on the Twitters and everywhere else, and catch all of their streams when they go live on their Twitch channel. And playing Jisoo, Jess, how was that? How was our first intro?
Bless you, Grant. You are just you're not going to take enough credit, but you know how hard you worked. You work hard for us, and you put this together. And thank you, Shirang, for making Grant do this, because this is an awesome cast. I'm hyped.
Wait, I'm gonna, even before the game started, like that video and that
right
overlay and that like sexy dice on the stream, like what the hell, right?
Well,
all the right pieces and parts where they need to be.
But where can we find you on the internet to check out all of your going-ons? I'm old hat.
I'm all over. I'm in a lot of people's discords. I'm on Twitter at Burst of Hope with a 0 for the of, because bots exist for apparently 10 years now. I've been fighting this war. I'm just saying. It's actually kind of quiet for me in terms of what I'm doing. Some secret stuff, like Pro said, and right now I'm just focused on hyping up the other marginalized folks in this awesome space, doing things.
All right. Well, I really appreciate you joining this stream and being very helpful in helping us get organized and for all that you do in the community. And Lily, this is your first game on WebDM and with this group, but I really appreciate you coming out. So where can we find you online, and how did you enjoy the session?
Well, I very much enjoyed the session. I only recently figured out how to make music work with Roll20, so now every time people are really good at doing music when they're GMing, I'm like, oh my goodness, I can hear it. It's so suspenseful. So definitely, Grant, amazing production. Just meeting all of you for basically the first time today, face to face, and I love all of you and your characters so much already. This is very exciting. I'm very excited, and it's just so many good moments. Just I know that like every single TTRPG game, everybody's like, I wish I knew an animator who could like animate this, but like I wish I knew an animator who could animate this. Yeah, I'm on. Kind of online. I'm on Instagram and Twitter at Lily Sparks with an X. I am streaming on a lot of channels. I'm on Scraticus, Fabled42, Lady Tiefling. I am actually going to be launching a game that I'm GMing soon on the Gilding Light channel with Satan Phoenix, so that is very exciting. And so if you want to stay tuned to all of that, go to my Instagram and Twitter, Lily Sparks with an X, and I have links for all of it. I'm not really posting right now, but you can find the stuff from my other stuff.
Well, thank you so much for coming out to play, and really appreciate the see-through lips and the positive vibes that you brought to the show. And last but not least, award-winning independent game designer Sharang Biswas.
So I'm Sharang Biswas. My Twitter is my full name. I also have stuff on DM's Guild and that kind of drive through with my full name. Or if you want to check out some of those award-winning games, they're on HIO under the name of Astrolingus. And yeah, I'm excited to be. I really like this. Grant was very cool about making it feel like a spy movie with the really fast scene changes and cut. That was really cool. I also really like the system because the system really makes you feel competent, right? So I've spoken about how I was about to say I've written about, but I actually have written about this. But Blades in the Dark, for example, says that makes you feel competent. This is another system that I've discovered that makes you feel like you're good at stuff. And that's a really cool and powerful way to handle this kind of game. I really love that. So I think the system with Grant's cool visual style are working really well together, I think. Plus it's shared storytelling, so us as players, I think, also have a small hand in making it feel cool. So that's nice. I think they're working on, if you're interested in other Pelgrane things, the book that I co-edited with Lucian Khan is currently on pre-order on Pelgrane's website. It's called Honey and Hot Wax. It is a collection of LARPs about sex written by a diverse team of LARP and TTRPG designers. And I'm working on a secret project for Wizards right now, which should happen soon, that you'll all see. And as usual, I'm working on 5 million projects, and indie games have asked me to write for them and things like that. So check that out. But do check out those, as Grant has mentioned twice, award-winning games on itch. Maybe you'll like them. And thank you. This was super fun. I'm super excited, and I don't know what to wear next week.
Well, whatever you wear, it will be. I'll appreciate you being clothed. So now, again, thank you, Sharang. Sharang and I have done shows for a couple years on Twitch, and is always a pleasure to work with. The first time, Sharang,
you were the first person I mean, there were other people there, but out of the people who I still stream with, you were the first person I've ever streamed with.
And it was a blast too. I remember when Sharang and I auditioned for a show, and I was like, "Look, if neither of us get casted, we're gonna go do our own show." Fortunately, we both were casted, and the rest is history.
And we still also went and did our own show more than once. It was mainly Grant's. By own, I mean Grant produced the whole thing, but I was in them, so.
Oh, I'm just an old chunk of coal. And speaking of that, my name is Grant Ellis. I'm the Twitch producer here on WebDM's Twitch channel. I'm a content creator for tabletop role-playing games. I do a lot of design for companies like 2C Gaming. I've written a few things for Money Cook, and I'm specifically producing this show for Pelgrane Press. Their support has been immense. All the artwork and the assets for the show are hand-stitched together by me, but we'll be back here on WebDM's Twitch channel on Tuesday with some Barum, but we will leave you with that intro video and catch you all on the flip side. And thank you again. We will be back with more Night's Black Agents on Thursday. I'm going to prepare for session 2, so we're doing live prep streams so people can see how I prepare for the episodes, and we can talk about approaching the Dracula Dossier, which is something like 7 or 8 books and 1,000 pages of content, and condensing it into something that we can play as a tabletop RPG session. With that, adios, I'll catch you on the flip side. Au revoir.